Mr. Wells?
Here.
Mr. Pendleton?
Here.
Ms. Mann?
Here.
Mr. Bain? Here. And Ms. Sutter?
I'm here. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the public hearing preview.
Okay, so again, I'm gonna really just focus on what the updates are since you're mid-month. So the continued item, number one, COVID is the only continued item. So again, existing restaurant, they've been there for 10 plus years. They want to do an arcade, that's what it is. That is in an old sandwich place that's right next to it. But they also have in their facility skill games. So we were going back and forth on this. There was legislation. Was it gonna get approved? Was it not? That question is still up in the air. So we crafted a condition that says, if they become legal, you need to do whatever it takes to make those games that you have legal. If it turns out that they are not legal, they will have to remove them. So that condition is in there, okay? And they also did, they needed to get encroachment for their picnic table and a fence, and they did that. So they took care of that. Another update, item number 2, Stanley Martin Homes. So that's the townhouse style homes on Granby Street on the excess portion where next steps to success are. We talked to you last at your mid-month about the side elevations. We were a little concerned, they were a little blank, shall we say. Initially what they turned in was they indicated they couldn't do windows, so they provided some additional landscaping. Yesterday, however, they submitted revised side elevations, and these are the high visibility side sections, and they were actually able to add some windows. So you'll see that elevation in the slide presentation upstairs, but it looks good. So they're doing the landscaping and the additional windows, so we got it all. Item number 3, Burger King. That's the existing Burger King on the southwest corner of Tidewater Drive and East Virginia Beach Boulevard. They are adding a second drive-through. So I think Rob mentioned to you at your mid-month that we were working with Public Works because they wanted some additional improvements in the right-of-way. They have, their property line is where it is, and then there's probably maybe 30 feet of right-of-way before you get to Virginia Beach Boulevard. So it's quite a wide area. So what they are proposing to do, 2 things. They're going to expand an existing sidewalk. It's very narrow, so they're going to make the sidewalk wider. And right now it almost bumps down. There's like almost a step when it meets the sidewalk that goes along Virginia Beach Boulevard to Tidewater Drive. They're going to widen that and make sure it's ADA accessible. There's also a very wide driveway that goes from Virginia Beach Boulevard that goes to the drive-through. They have agreed to narrow that and fix the apron that goes into that. So those are some pretty big improvements that they're proposing. So because of that, we have indicated that we would give them more time to do it than just your standard, before you can use the drive-through. So and what they want to do too is they are making improvements to, I guess, Burger Kings across the city. So they kind of want to do it all at the same time. So we have recommended 2 years. I think we've got the applicant, they may request more than that, but we have recommended 2 years to give them to do those improvements. And then the other,
to do all the Burger Kings? Is that what you're
no, the improvements on this site. Okay. We also noticed that their wall signs might be a little bit bigger than they're allowed to have, so we'll work with them on making sure that they're compliant. And then the last update I have is Macondo. So that's the new restaurant on Little Creek Road, doing substantial improvements to the front of the site, to the building. As you recall, they have quite a large parking area to the rear, and it goes pretty far back, but on the other side of that is an apartment building. And we did get a letter of concern from the management of that apartment building. So, and wisely so, they said, we're going to continue this a month. We would like to talk to that apartment, the folks at the apartment building, explain what they're doing. Apparently there has been some issues with not the most past occupant, but maybe the occupant before that. So they have some concerns that it's going to be something that we don't think it's going to be. But he has asked for a month to have the opportunity to talk to that apartment building. So gladly, we're going to allow him to continue that. We are recommending approval on all the applications except for the STR at 1442 West Ocean View. As Andrew pointed out, that had a history of, and I'm gonna call it willful noncompliance. They had a CUP, they let it go, they knew they needed a CUP, they continued to operate anyway, and there were some other issues, so that is the only one we are not supporting.
Susan, did they get to the point of fine, pay a fine?
Yes, that's in the staff report, yes.
I
they did.
believe they did.
More than one?
I think it was once.
To go back to the second item, the Stanley Martin's home. So Jeff and Mr. Wells and I were talking about this. So this went through architectural review, am I correct?
It did not.
No. Okay. Because I just found it interesting that we were making architectural recommendations and not,
Yeah, it's not city property, it's not in a,
Okay.
a district that requires it, it doesn't require a development certificate, so there's not.
Doing a good job.
we are, yes.
We weren't bad mouthing you at all.
Team effort, I thought.
We knew that Larry would have said that.
Because you would have been the one melting.
Any other questions?
Terry, can you elaborate on that? Out of curiosity, what your questions
We were
were?
concerned, actually, Susan, the end units didn't look like end units. They didn't look like something that would, so adding the landscaping was part of it, but adding the windows, I'm looking forward to seeing the elevations.
Yeah.
Because it's a prominent corner, it's a,
Lot of density.
It has to.
And so, you know, I broached this last meeting about having affordable housing in units like this, that are this dense. So is that off the table now for the city, or that we can't require that of a large development, or?
We don't currently have a policy that, that's the Housing Commission's working on, if there should be a policy to require or request affordable units specifically from operators right now. So because of,
Is that something the state allows?
yes, the state does allow for you to have I guess you could call it inclusionary zoning to have affordable units. We do not have a policy or that zoning in our ordinance right now. Reason being is that again, the Housing Commission is still working on their work, but also there's a concern for concentration of where the locations of that housing is right now, and the types of units that are being requested. This one is a fully market rate one. Most of the other ones have some type of tax credit, which has requirements for affordability. So currently, right now, the Housing Commission's current outlook is that there's a need for housing across all sections of the city, not just focusing on affordable. So until we get that policy, the staff has not been providing any recommendation on a condition like that.
You know, we had a poverty commission a number of years ago. Were there recommendations out of that for decreasing concentrations of poverty?
That's a good question. I do not know.
What was the question?
So, you know, this is a major thrust of poverty. We had a poverty commission. And I wondered if one of the recommendations, after I was on council, was to mandate or include or enforce that a certain percentage of housing at our discretion, so you could minimize the concentration in certain neighborhoods, would be workforce housing or low-income housing, whatever term you want to use.
I mean,
So do you know if that came out of the poverty commission?
there wasn't an official policy that was adopted. I'll say that. I don't know what the findings were. So
As far back as when I was on council, we talked about this.
So I think people have been waiting for the allegations from the Housing Commission, and I imagine they'll accept feedback from other folks, maybe including us, exactly.
Well, the previous application that we reviewed, I think it was 144 condo units. And I think because we asked, they worked in, I think, 9 or 10 affordable housing, reduced rent units. So, I mean, that's because they were willing to work.
Yeah, so although the commission hasn't completely, they're still working on their study, and when I spoke to Councilman McGee, he said that portion of the study hadn't been addressed yet, so they're gonna deliver something this spring, summer, and they're still working on that part. We've been talking about this for every bit of the year that I've been here, 2 years. And as Mr. Bateman points out, it's not mandated, but we can certainly ask. And it doesn't have to be affordable, it could be even work, it could be a set aside so that there's an inclusionary part.
Just firemen, nurses, teachers, so that's a missing middle.
We're missing an opportunity here where we're gonna approve another higher density unit with architectural issues and other issues, and it would be nice enough for us to ask the developer, is there a chance that you could put some of these units in there as a set aside?
I think that's all appropriate for your public hearing. How about that?
And just a reminder, these are condos for sale, not apartments, so just.
Sure. Even so.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, one more, sorry.
Have these new plans already been presented to the community, or this will be the first time?
I'm
You
sorry.
have these new plans that they're gonna be showing today?
I think we did request that they share them with the community.
Okay, so they have been
And you
shown?
all, I don't know, you can.
Okay.
Yeah. Cause they did, it was just yesterday that we
Oh,
got
yes,
it.
okay, they said Monday, never mind, thank you.
And the Civic League approved them before you put the windows in, before the landscaping in. The Civic League basically said, yes, love the idea, go for it, so. The whole back lead.
Also, there was discussion about number 6, sanctuary, about the hours for the outdoor entertainment. That was pulled back, we did discuss with the applicant, and it was pulled back to 10 p.m. Entertainment, so.
Any other questions? So the sanctuary is back to what it was, the hours that it was before.
Correct. Other than the earlier opening
Right,
hours, I believe. They have earlier opening hours, but the outdoor entertainment will cease at 10 p.m.
That's great. It's good.
Director's comments, any council actions? No.
Let's see, Councilman, last was after your meeting, right? So, let me take a peek.
Okay.
My brain,
Go ahead and double check.
does.
While we're waiting, maybe any commissioner comments?
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right, April 14th, that's right. Thank you. There was a number of your items that were on the consent, oh, that's right. I thought I talked about this already. It seems to say I thought I talked about this. But the council approved a number of your items on the consent agenda, which included senior tequilas, the towing facility, Black Eyed Peas, the zoo, a number of short-term rentals, and the narrow lots. All the narrow lots were approved. Those were all on the consent agenda. And the Green Clean, 7 Brews, yep. So they heard all of those. On their agenda for this Tuesday is Frank and Patty's discussion. Just as a heads up, at the direction of council, the condition that the planning commission added to limit the outdoor amplified music has been removed, so council is removing that condition.
Which one was that again?
Frank and Patty's, it's the East Beach Square, it's the limited indoor seating restaurant that had a number of outdoor seats, but council during my presentation to them wanted to have the condition that was added by the commission to limit the outdoor amplified music to have it removed, so it's been removed from the conditions.
So they have amplified music till how long, how late?
Since it's not directly adjacent to residential, the limitation is whatever the noise ordinance is, so.
So whenever they close. Okay.
And Black Eyed Peas removed the
Yes, I'm sorry, yeah, Black Eyed Peas removed the DJ request as well, so it was concern on council for their request for a DJ, so they removed their request for a DJ.
It sounded like there was some confusion on what the term DJ meant, like,
Well,
clarity on that?
so there's no confusion on our part. DJ always means dance floor and disc jockey.
Mhm.
So someone actively doing the music. So that is always a requirement. There may be talks for potentially splitting the two, should we be requiring a dance floor? As we know, the concerns that we've had is that people say they just wanna have music, people will still dance and they will turn it into a nightclub essentially, which ends up being the main issue, which is why we require the dance floor. Until we can figure out a better way to split the two and come up with a better way to have someone curate music, I guess you could say, that's not a DJ. It's better safe than sorry right now, especially with other issues going on throughout the region, to just keep it the way it is until we can figure out a better way to separate the two. So
Yeah, I am hearing that that's a trend where there's a curator of music with turntables, but it's not necessarily, the intention isn't for dancing. It's just a vibe. I'm learning to talk
understand.
like the young folks.
we understand. The hard part is that unfortunately, historic precedents of locations that either have said they would do that or just decided to open without any approval and just do it anyway, have not led to good things in the city. So we want to try to figure it out, but I think unfortunately when we talk to people that want to do it, they just say, why are you regulating it at all? And so it's not moving the ball forward. If the answer is not to try to figure out how to do it, then our answer is no, it's this always. So we just don't know how to bifurcate the two without, as we know, right, the region's currently having issues with this. There are people looking for ways to regulate it like we do right now. They're asking the General Assembly for the same powers that we have. And so we've got a good handle on it. And so we think this is the better part about it right now. So. Again, I don't like to be no fun. I hate to feel like I'm being no fun, but yeah.
I had a question about the WADs. Did that ever go back through council?
It did go back through council. The condition was added to GWADs. It said that it'll get reviewed for consistency with the coastal pattern book. So the architect has been working through what that looks like. And so we haven't got finalized designs yet, but we're getting closer, and it looks better than what they had proposed.
Okay, so it won't come back through here, it'll just go, it still has to go to council?
No, council's already approved it. It'll just be reviewed by staff for consistency.
Okay.
And it was announced at the State of the City.
I heard that.
So did anybody go to the first Fridays? Okay, so I was not here, but I've heard a lot of complaints by residents that live here. I know they canceled it, but just what happened, some of the things that happened, that I'm wondering how it happened and why we keep letting it happen, is people were going into the liquor store, buying liquor, making their own drinks out there and drinking, and cops, I heard, were just walking by them or standing and not doing anything about it. And that's kind of what was going on in getting people, well, they got drunk, right, real quick, and it was really bad later on at night. So something needs to be done about tightening down on that kind of activity before it goes wild. And I don't know what it is. I don't think it's us, but I don't know who it is.
I think that was why DNC chose to cancel them for right now. Again, there's different allowances and allotments to do certain things, and again, we say vibe, right? We're trying to assure that we provide a safe environment for people that not only live there but also are visiting.
Right.
And so I think that was why, because First Fridays is being run by Downtown Norfolk Council,
Right.
which is why they chose to pause for the time being to try to understand what those impacts were and how they can try to mitigate them a little bit better. So.
My understanding is that they're working with members of council to figure out what can be done moving forward. Yeah. Any other questions? Any other comments? Director?
May 4th, again, just as a reminder, just in case, what we'll do is we will post that there's a possibility of more than 2 planning commissioners to be in attendance at the meeting. Again, it's at the library at 5:30 for the short-term rental comments on the potential change to the short vacation rentals in the Willoughby area of the city. If you'd like to attend, please feel free to. We will post it accordingly so that multiple commissioners can be there and potentially speak business, as you say, so that you can be there. So our plan is not to talk much, our plan is just to describe it and just take comment. We'll probably be there from 5:30 to 8 o'clock receiving comment probably, so.
Okay.
So we'll run it, I will essentially run it where everybody will sign up and they'll get 3 minutes to speak, so.
Any other updates or comments before we head upstairs?
Yeah.
All right, well then we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.